Test. Hello. Yep, it's working. We're all good, baby. So welcome to IronCast, the podcast that is about Iron Realms, IronHeim, and everything that has to go on with our community, events, you name it. We're gonna kind of do this pilot with a little bit of an outline in the beginning, do some intros, get them out of the way, and then jump right into it. Right. So what is IronHeim? IronHeim is our heavily modded Valheim server, right? And if you haven't got the chance to check it out, just check out the description below. Hop into the Discord, see if it's for you. If it's not for you, then move on. But if it is, stick around. It's because we're just getting started, right? So for today's guests, we have Cleo and Heliron. Hey, what's up?
How's it going, guys?
Hello, hello.
So these are two of our veteran IronHeim players. Cleo is also a patron of mine, so appreciate the support like always. And then also he's a dad streamer, wielder of great ideas and concepts. And Heliron is also one of our GMs and the server owner for Iron Classic, the North American server, the vanilla-like server that we also run. So real quick, sponsors. Right into that, right? So this segment is for any sponsors that would like to sponsor the Iron Realms or this series. Sponsor kind of seems like a very broad term, right? But I see it as the folks that monetarily support in any way, shape, or form. So on the screen, you can see that we have some patrons, donators, anyone who's definitely ever voted or pulled their money out of their pockets to give to us. We appreciate you, and thank you for all your continued support. It's appreciated more than you know, that's for sure. So IronHeim, that's kind of like the biggest focal point for the Iron Realms, right? That's what really brings everybody in. Of course, we have some other servers that are currently running parallel to IronHeim, but we also have some future ones coming up too that are going to be modded. So keep tuned in for that, right? So a little bit about IronHeim. It's challenging, it's modded, but I like to say it's balanced, right? And that balancing came with a lot of player deaths, right? I'm sure Clay and Heliron can attest to that. Lots of deaths. Meeting Mr. Grigg in the Black Forest in the middle of the night for the first time. If you haven't got a chance to experience that, go ahead and let me know how it goes, right? So yeah, IronHeim launched in 30 July 2022. So we're still fairly new, right? It's just over 6 months. The community is growing. It's kind of been on a pretty good upward pace the whole time. So I'm super excited to kind of see where it goes over the next few years. And yeah, like I said, I launched it on 30 July. I played on a couple different Valheim servers, modded and vanilla. And it wasn't the experience I was looking for. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just try my hand at trying to make my own version of what I would like to see in a server. And then it just happened. I was like, you know what? Let's just make it for everybody. So I bought a server, did the whole mod pack thing. Got it live, and it's kind of just grown from there. We've gone through a lot of ups and downs, obviously. It's a little bit of a learning curve if you have never done it. But I think it's been pretty successful overall. So that's IronHeim. It's kind of its birth and how it got to where it is now. We're sitting at over 400 members on our Discord. Of course, we got folks that come and go, find out it's not for them, it's too hard, or it's too whatever they want to say, right? It's sometimes it's not for everybody, right? So, but we got like I said, a little bit over 400 folks, and we're gonna keep growing, right? We're just getting started. So We're gonna do a couple little questions that are I'm gonna pose to my guests and also to chat. So if you want to chime in at any point, don't hesitate to chime in and pose your questions or pose your answers. And then right after that, we're gonna get into getting to know the people you see on your screen, right? Myself, Clay, and Heliron. Just a little bit of back about us, and we'll go from there. So, what makes IronHeim unique? What do you guys think? What makes IronHeim unique? What's different about it?
You go, Cleo.
I mean, the first thing you're going to notice is the difficulty, big time. And then the second thing you're going to notice right off the bat is the epic loot with all the magic and enchantments and that whole system. I think that's probably the biggest thing because, I mean, you've done so much with that, adding gear and all whatnot to make that fun for folks. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say the constant danger that you're constantly freaking in. Just right from the get go, it's not a safe place. You're gonna be having everything coming at you, and it's a constant. Unless you're sort of within your base and behind walls, literally everything's out there to freaking kill you, man.
Sure.
And I love that fact that things are just tuned up right to 11 right off the get-go because everyone's played the original Valheim, most likely if you're looking at a modded server at this point. And the fact that you've taken it and went, you know what? No, we're going to separate the wheat from the chaff right now. Let's just freaking go. So that was something that I think IronHeim really brings to the table that a lot of other servers don't. They try and ease everybody into every situation where it's go time right now, man.
All right. Sink or swim, baby.
That's
Right.
right.
And then you think you're doing good, and then you hear that weird sound in the middle of the night in the Black Forest.
You're,
And
you're sitting behind, your stone walls.
Yeah.
I'm so
Man,
safe.
alive.
I'm so safe.
Right? Yeah, you think you're safe.
And then there's
Spoiler
a
alert.
lightning strike, or a portal opens in front of you, and next
Hey,
thing you
don't
know,
give too much, man.
I
That's
didn't say,
that's
I
actually
didn't say
one
where
of my
they
fondest
came
memories.
from.
That's one of my fondest memories of freaking
Yeah.
IronHeim was actually that first time going out
Yep.
into the dark wood there and oh shit, this is completely different.
What is that noise?
Yeah, and then
Ah!
all of a sudden your heart fucking drops.
Surprise, surprise. Right? Yeah.
Trolls are not the worst anymore.
That's true.
No.
Yeah. They're definitely not the apex predator. Yeah,
No.
AFK making cannonball says Dark Souls-ish danger. Yep.
Yep.
That
Oh
is
yeah, and
for sure.
Zaylin would also like you to remember that his axe is still broken.
I'm gonna go spawn some shit on Zaylin when I get back on the game. Oops. You are being hunted by the troll queen again.
Yeah, the troll queen. Yes.
Oh
yes.
no, it's
Yes.
not what you gotta spawn, man. You gotta spawn your extra special mob for him.
Yeah, right, for sure. Some fell loxes. Slap them around
Yeah.
a little bit. So what I think, I guess I'll go to, right? What I think makes IronHeim unique. I mean, you guys kind of hit it on the head, right? The challenging, I did want it to be challenging, but I wanted it to feel like players weren't helpless, right? I think that's a big key. But barely skirting that line is, for me, I think is what creates not only good gaming experience as a whole, right? But I think creates good memories, right? If I thought back to like different games I played with my buddies or whatever, I always refer to Arma 2 Daisy. I don't know if you've ever played it, but that shit was hard, and it was so hard that I can, even though I hadn't played it in probably 15 years, 10 years, I don't even know, at least 10 years, I can still remember the memories that we had together playing that game, trying to get through the madness that was that came with that game and that mod, and to this day I can still remember it. So I wanted to try to create a platform, right? Some type of enterprise platform that will allow people to generate the same type of memories and carry them on, right? Because I think that one, gaming is healing, right? I think we wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't fun. We do it for everybody plays it, has different reasons for gaming or what have you, but I think part of it is healing. So I like to try to be able to create those memories. So that's a lot of times you'll see me hop on and I'll just get on. If I only have like 5 or 10 minutes at lunch, I'll hop on and I'll mess with players, right? And make a spontaneous raid and make it seem like it's a dynamic event when it's really me just hidden, spawning shit and giving players just keeping them on their toes, right? So like Heliron said, you know, that factor of always being in danger, part of that's me. So you're welcome. All right, moving on. Fondest memories in IronHeim. So Heliron kind of brought it up already.
Yeah, sorry.
We'll go with let me think of one. I'm gonna think of mine for a moment because I have a couple, but I want to see what Clay. What's your fondest memories? And chat, don't hesitate to chime in. We're watching.
Oh boy, that's a tough one. Fondest memory.
On this one, it's because you have so many. You gotta.
Yeah, like there's the fire hall, building that up on the Skyland. Going into the swamp and realizing that the crypts respawn. That was a new experience for me on this server.
Surprise.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I have mine ready. I'm gonna play a little clip.
I was gonna say.
I got a clip here that I'm gonna throw up on here. I'm gonna put up on the screen, right? And it is one of my favorite moments because I remember like the chat in the game and in the actual Discord voice chat. People were like, "What the?" Like they were like blown away when this creature came out, and I was just like, "Yeah, I was loving it. It was a blast."
I have a feeling I know what this one is.
So let me see if I can pull it up here.
Welcome back to another community.
Oh, I know. While you're pulling that up, mine would be the Halloween event.
Oh, that was good.
That was so good.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all had to work together, and yeah, I finally had gear high level enough I could actually help.
I'm gonna play this clip here. I don't know. You can watch when the creatures stand up, man. Everyone's like, "Oh my god!" Oh man, look at them running away like cockroaches, like, "Oh my god!" Are you crazy, Dad?
Awesome.
And it was a splitter. So,
besides,
which was not intentional, but I was like, you know what, I'm going with it.
You know what? That's awesome.
So that moment, you know, I thought that was just I just love trying to create those memories. That's the reason I do the events and all that, right? Is just to create those moments, those opportunities to have like a good positive experience regardless of what it is and go from there, man. That's what I really do. So let's hear Clay. If you're ready, let's go. If not, then Heliron, tear it up.
the fondest memory.
Yes, sir. Fondest memory.
The Halloween event, because I finally had gear high enough that I could actually like contribute in a meaningful way. And we were, going back and forth, moving around, trying to work together because there was so much stuff just spawning all over the place, and trying to coordinate our attacks. So we had like a group of people that all had sledgehammers all beating on the bone piles because I was at like 5 million health or some ridiculous thing like that.
No, that one. I remember when I planned it didn't. Most of the time when I plan an event, right, I have an idea of kind of what I want to do, and I usually just wing it. But usually I'll plan it. But that one, I was like, I just decided to make, give the bone piles a bunch of health and make that like that's what you had to do, or you're gonna have to reap the consequences of what happens if you fail to destroy the bone piles, right? So yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, Brent in the chat says Iron Dad is known to log in and mess with people. He spawned in a Trollman raid, a special troll, and an int on us in the Black Forest to watch us fight. And then he rewarded us for surviving. That's what we do on IronHeim. Keep you on your toes.
Oh yeah, you remember when he did that to us, Heliron and Slater's place?
He trolled us so hard on that.
Yeah, he did.
I was like, what the hell's going on? Where are these coming from? Yeah, no, that was a good one. But yeah, again, roping back, Dark Woods, Grig, holy crap. I will never forget that because literally heart sank when that noise came down. like, what is that?
Portal opens, yeah.
Murder incoming.
Yeah, right.
But which actually did happen pretty quick. But yeah, one of my other fondest memories was actually defending Ravenhold for the first time. That was my first event on the server there. And it just got wild. Things were happening every which way. Bosses responding that, I'm like, okay, maybe he'll do a couple trolls and a couple this. No, that's to that. No, we're doing bosses, multiple, go. Oh, that's too easy. Let's put in more flying things. Let's go freaking put in another boss.
It's kind
it was just...
Yeah, it's kind of like being a dungeon master, right? That's how I look at it. Because I also play D&D, right? And I am the dungeon master for a current campaign. And that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, you forgot the evil part, dungeon master.
Oh, I can't wait.
Just saying.
I can't wait to show you what I made for IronHeim. I haven't put it in yet, but you'll know when it's in. That's all I gotta say.
Nice.
It's gonna be a surprise.
But yeah, going back actually to what the guys were saying there earlier with the trollman. So that's actually a long favorite memory of mine now, because before I didn't know Iron Dad was spawning these once in a while. So I would get 3 or 4 of them beside me when I was first starting. And these things would constantly be pulling me bloody every which way. And I got so annoyed. I hated the freaking mobs so much. And later on, he admits to spawning a whole bunch. And it's like, you
put, I knew it. I remember when that happened. You put it, I knew it in like caps. I was like, yep, that was me. That's funny, man.
But yeah, the fact that you actually were interactive with the people that were there, even in the random wild, just having things happen just without expecting them. It was a nice treat, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I appreciate the kind words firstly, but also I think part of that comes from, for me, have you ever played the game called Rift?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in that game, it was all about rifts, right? And those were basically just dynamic events. You could be running through a forest and all of a sudden, like, the ground starts shaking, the sky turns red, and there's these giant portals that, like, open up and demons are pouring out, right? Like, that was, like, for me, I was like, this is insane. Like, this game went from, like, oh, it's pretty good RPG, just doing my thing, to, like, this is a fucking amazing. Like, why don't most games do this? Like, so... Anytime I'm in control of a game or whatever it is, I try to add dynamic events. I think those are important, right?
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, in chat, Sinful mentioned the testing of the Deep North raid that you did on him that happened to claim Gabriel and his friends' lives that day.
Old Gabriel, love that guy. Yeah, so. Shadow Wolf said, "Don't bring him on any ideas. Don't give me any ideas, right? Rift was amazing. Nope. Yeah, exactly.
He's full of ideas. Don't kid yourself.
Clay
doesn't need more.
Might be the culprit or the change factor, right? The change it into triggering a very evil idea. So, good job, Clay. Y'all can blame him whenever.
Yay!
What's going on with this? Gabe is my hero." All right, first impressions. So Heliron kind of already hit it earlier, but if you, what did you think when you first started on the server, right? Clay, let's see what you got.
Oh, I thought it was so cool. So I logged in, and before that, the only multiplayer server of more than like just a very small friend group, like 5 or less, was the Valheim roleplay server, and. So I log in, and there, right at start there's the NPCs with the rules and the quests and all that, and then the torch is leading off into the distance. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll go follow that, and then I find the community village and see all that stuff there, and there's chests with gear for you to pick up, and I lucked out. I got a black metal knife, and that thing carried me a long ways. In IronHeim that first go around, but it was so cool to see like all that had been done in the community village, and it made the whole place felt like, oh yeah, there's a community here. There's it's alive. It's
Yeah.
it's a living, breathing community.
So I can't take
so
credit for the village. The original one was actually built by Liv and Quindaro. So they had the idea, and I was like, let's do it. And then I dropped the NPC there, of course.
Yeah,
And it kind of just stuck. And then on the new seed, X-Ray built the new community village. So props to him picking it up. He actually does most of the building on IronHeim. I don't do many of that. I did build Ravenhold, but that was it. For the most part, he's done all of it. So huge kudos to him. He's like my right hand man for pretty much anything. So I relied on him a lot, and he was the first IronHeim player. So I don't know if you know that he was the very first one. So also my first patron. So it was, we go back to July, but we go back in as far as time is relative, right? So yeah.
Yep.
Sinful says, I think we came up with new devious ideas Iron Dad will build on for sure.
Oh yeah.
100%.
For sure.
Yep. So what would you guys like to see next for content? What do you envision the future of IronHeim looking like?
I got one for you.
Let's hear it.
You know me, I love boss fights. In fact, I tried taking on your most recent guy. Unsuccessful, but still, it was fun as hell. It was fun as hell. But I don't know. I think it's time for the big bad wolf to come out, Mr. Fenrir.
Oh, funny you say that. Funny you say that.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Because someone mentioned, I can't remember who it was. They were talking about it, and I was like, you know what? That'd be an easy one to make, I think. I can, scale up a wolf a little bit, change the skin and whatever. So that may already be cooking. That's
Sweet.
Nice. Looking forward to it.
Somebody in chat was getting confused about Fenrir versus Fenring.
Ah, that's what it was. Yeah, exactly. Yep. Fenrir, yeah. So what do you think, Clay? Future of IronHeim, what do you think?
Future of IronHeim. Personally, I think we need to go back to destructible buildings. I think that would change a lot.
You are gonna have so many people pissed off at you.
It was already gonna happen when they find out the new mob thing that he added.
Yeah. So I'm not a fan of indestructible buildings, but
yeah.
Sometimes it's not about what you want, it's about what the masses want. So the reason that they're indestructible is because the ward mods that I've tried, which is everyone that exists, Better Wards, Ward is Love, all the different ones, right? There's too many performance issues with them on modded servers. Too many.
Right.
So we're having insane FPS drops. Anytime, because obviously the ward affects all the pieces, and I guess all the different custom pieces and all the different modded, building pieces and all that were causing issues. I don't really know what it was, but we could not avoid the FPS drops when we had those. So, and that was all of them, all the different ward mods, which is unfortunate because I am a fan of Ward is Love. I like the different customization options it has, but ultimately, if it's affecting performance, it's got to go. Just the bottom line. So,
right.
So I think in my philosophy when it comes to servers in general is stability is key, which is why I've been pulling my hair out since Mistlands, because it hasn't been stable, and I think that's been across the board for most servers, from what I'm gathering, which is unfortunate. But that's part of life. Not only is it part of any game, right? If it's modded, it's going to be issues, but even more so, it's still being made. It's still being developed. So they change the code, they add new expansions, and then everybody's got to pretty much start from scratch, rewrite all the different playfab stuff. It's been a nightmare, but we try to stay on top of it, and stability is my number one priority. And then of course, fun, and go on from there. So ward mods, unfortunately, don't work out well with the current mod pack that we have, so I had to figure out a way to preserve what players work hard for, because I'm a dad, and I work full time, and I go to I do all these things. I would be pissed off if I got off from work and finally sit down and relax, and my shit's destroyed because of a griefer or because of whatever reason. So
Or
I get
start
it.
trolling your base.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just it could be anything, and I think that the switching it to indestructible is probably the best and only choice I could do at the time. But is what it is. So maybe we can get back to it once we get a little more optimized ward mod or something, another way to circumvent, griefers and that type of thing. So we'll see. Buy planes of base to your base.
Right.
Yeah, that's not even gonna last a single attack.
Yeah, so we can't. People will find a way, no matter what.
Yeah,
People will
no
find
kidding.
a way to make you realize that your plan was not foolproof. You think, I got this. It's gonna be squared away. No one's gonna be able to figure out how to circumvent this issue or whatever. And then, sure enough, you're flying around cleaning up whatever, doing whatever on the server, and you see, like, wait a minute, what the hell? Like, how do they do that? So I'll give a shout out to Knife. A lot of people. He's a pretty confrontational human being. If you haven't had a few chats with him, I like him personally. But a lot of exploits and bugs that were rectified were because he found them. Because he's he played a ridiculous amount of time and griefed every single monster he could. He cheated them, cheesed them in every way, shape, or form. But he was always upfront about it. Like, hey, this is what I did, and it helped me keep the balance, which is also key. You should queue up the video of the base we destroyed with the trolls when we caught that hacker.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
That was a good one.
I have that video. I will have to find it. Once we get someone else talking for a minute, I'll try to sift through and see if I can find it. I do have it. Yeah. So yeah, we did. So we had a hacker. We found out where his base was. He actually inhabited an abandoned base, but it was a weird one. He was I don't know if he was I'm not gonna say he was a hacker. He was exporting gold for sure, but he was buying everything at the auction house, and he was spawning gold piles in people's houses. It was really weird, but yeah, I know who it was.
Yeah. On top of that, I'll touch on this a little bit, guys. Again, don't cheese the game. It takes away from your experience. Literally, play it as it is. And if you find a bug or you find something that's an issue or something that doesn't look right, let a GM know. Honestly, we want your experience to be a good one. And if people start taking advantage of certain things like that, it sort of takes away from everyone's experience.
Yep, sure. And most of the time, like recently we had an issue with the trader. We all know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was going to mention
Been working with Randy Knapp on a lot of those issues because it comes from Epic Loot Mod. And I thought we had fixed them. Even if it was a Band-Aid fix, I still thought it was fixed that way people could exploit it, right? But then somehow it reverted. I don't know what happened. But anyways, it had been there for a couple days. People were just buying the in-game weapons for 1 gold a piece, which what's going to happen? You're going to get the best stuff in the game, and then what? You're going to be like,
right,
this was fun. Like, what do I have to work towards, right? So
game
sure,
over.
yeah, have fun, do whatever you want to do, play and kill all the creatures in the game, one-shot them with the Bane of Nidhogg. And but it doesn't lead to a fulfilling ending, if that makes sense. So just don't do it. Just report it. Most of the time it'd be rewarded anyways, right? So yeah.
And less stuff we gotta basically nerf to hell so that we can make that balance.
Right,
yeah. So let's change gears. All right, enough about IronHeim for a moment. Let's talk about backstories. Right. So who would like to go first?
1, 2, 3, now that
he beat me to it. Backstory. That's a good question. How far back should I go?
we don't got that much time, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Well, if you notice, I've got quite a bit of gray there myself. No. So gamer for I don't know how many years now, and dad to 4, got 4 kids, keep me real busy, and Valheim has become my go-to bread and butter game that I play pretty much every day. A lot of fun. But yeah, so I Really got into it with the roleplay server. Enjoyed that a lot. That had the difficulty cranked up a little bit. Like it's more than vanilla. But there was a long break between seasons. I'm like, I really wonder what other modded servers there are out there. And so I was just scrolling the Valheim about it on there. I forget what it was now. And clicked through and was like, oh, this server looks interesting. Logged in, and there was that whole experience with the community village I mentioned. I'm like, this is cool. And then I was walking around and just noticing the difficulty and being like, yeah, this is what I was looking for. Something that's a little bit harder even than the VRP server was. Like, yeah, it's a challenge. And the challenge of getting your base established and your food and all that situated and your gear and figuring out which gear you wanted. Like even that in the way we've got the epic loot and all that set up, like figuring out which gear you want that fits your play style and all that is a lot of fun. And and that was what, August, September time frame.
Yeah. In the
So,
beginnings.
yeah, the early-ish days, not quite the early days, server had been around for a little bit when I finally found it. But a lot of fun, a lot of events. Love the events. I think that was probably the thing that really hooked me solid, was that first event. Where I'm like, wow.
Yeah. Speaking of events,
These are hard.
Hell Iron just ran the first Iron Classic event, the Gauntlet, and I got to say that I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know if y'all know it, but I was Wolfgar, so I was in there playing as well. So it was awesome. I thought it was cool. It's super simple, nothing crazy, but it was still a challenge. Everybody had to work together. And I think that's an element that I really would like to implement in future IronHeim events or any Iron Realm server events, is the working together. Because like you said, like for the Halloween event, like you had to focus on a certain point, whatever that objective or point is, right? So that you can move forward, or else you're going to fail. And that's kind of how the Gauntlet was. And I think that aspect is definitely missing in some of our events. So definitely going to implement that more. So I thought it was an awesome event. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the nice thing about the Gauntlet is, you had to clear the room. But if somebody dies while you're clearing the room, the rest of the party can stay in the room, clear the room, or just wait for them to come back. And it wasn't a big deal for them to get to their body. Right. Which is something I really liked because, well, I may have died a few times.
Sorry.
Well, let's not focus on that. But yeah, no, it was very well organized and well executed for sure. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Again, it was a lot of fun to do for you guys. Not gonna lie, I may or may not have killed Iron Dad on purpose.
Fair
but
enough.
had to get you back for a little bit, man. But the end, the final boss that you guys were doing, I loved watching you guys sort of split the team up, taking on both abominations in different corners. Liv was, oh my god, to watch Liv freaking play there, that was just amazing. She's really good.
Yeah.
The fact you three were basically taking on one and she was taking on one by herself.
Yep.
And she was hitting every single block just perfectly timed. It was great.
Yep.
It was a lot of fun for me to do, and I'm looking forward to torturing you guys more.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Clay die impossible.
Yeah, right.
Hey, there's Liv. It was really fun no matter what.
Hey.
No matter how many times we died. Yeah, it was awesome. So good job. So I'll go next for the backstory if you want me to. Hell,
yeah, have at her, man.
A little bit about me. So I'm currently in Europe. I am from America originally, if you can't pick up the accent. I'm over here because of my job, so I'm in the military. I've been in almost 17 years, retiring at 20, and then I'll be doing this full time, right? So can't wait for then, because I can also grow my beard so I can look like Gandalf, because it's already turning white. So by the time I am able to grow my majestic beard, it's gonna be white. So it is what it is. That's just wisdom. I'm married. What's that?
Or stress.
Or yeah, right. So that's why.
Yeah.
IronHeim is down. No.
Yeah, you think I'm joking? Ask my wife. There's times where I'm like, babe, I can't sleep. I gotta fucking go work on this. Like, she's like, for real? It's a fucking game, and I'm like, I can't just let it fail. Like, that's just not who I am. So, many times I've gotten up and tried to figure out whatever the issue is, or someone says it crashes, and yeah, it's just part of who I am, I guess. So, yeah. So, like I said, I'm also, like I mentioned, my wife, right? So I'm married. We've been married for over 10 years now. This will be year 11. She was also military as well. She got out when she was having my second daughter, and she did the stay-at-home mom thing, worked on her degrees, the whole shebang. So now she's got multiple degrees, and she's kicked back to work. So she's awesome. She's the reason I get up every day. Her and my kids, right? So I have 3 daughters, ranging from teenagers all the way down to elementary school, right? So they keep me busy. Also, probably contributed to some of the gray hair,
I was gonna say, no wonder you punish us so much.
Right? Yeah. Other hobbies than gaming. Actually, I don't even play games that much anymore. I do mostly like just coding and changing and modifying and doing events and all that, right? But other than gaming, I'm a big MMA guy. I've fought in amateur, different formats, boxing, Muay Thai, mixed martial arts. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I still actively train 3 days a week. Love it. Absolutely love it. I think everybody should do it. So I won't go down that spiel, but I could talk about it all day. So if you ever want to talk about UFC, MMA, jiu-jitsu, any type of combat, martial arts, love it all. I could talk about it for days. So that's usually my replacement for anyone who tries to talk about football, because I'm not a big football guy. Could care less. And that's American football, not European football. Just don't lie. I don't really care I played it in school. I played what the hell the position's called? Cornerback. I played cornerback, and a wide receiver. I did play center once. I'm not a very big guy. I definitely wasn't then. And somehow I was center for a little bit. I don't know how the fuck that happened, but yeah. But after I got injured in football, I never really went back to it, and I just never really watched it. And so yeah, I was really good at fighting. Had a lot of fights in school, so I just turned that into a hobby instead of thing that gets me in trouble all the time. So yeah, and that's me in a nutshell, I guess. On over to you, Heliron.
All right, so I'm from Langley, BC, Canada. Basically been into video games, multiplayer at least, since BBS boards were around, if you know what that is. Legend of the Red Dragon was one of my favorites.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, that's going back some years. I actually didn't get into Valheim right off the get-go. I was actually introduced to Valheim by some Warcraft friends when we were in between patches and sort of bored as hell, because what else are you going to do other than repeat the same bloody dungeon over and over and over? So got into it and I was hooked. It was literally, this is the game I needed. So now I balance my time, or my spare time, I should say, between Valheim and Warcraft and whatever other games that people have been throwing my way. Hint, spoiler, something's coming. There's a time and base when I was going from playing on somebody else's server to managing my own. I decided, you know what? I bought a dedicated Dell server blade to actually run in my garage for a bunch of people. And I got to play around with modding and doing a whole bunch of different things for them, and seeing people unrestricted by, building materials and building these amazing castles and everything else was amazing to me. And then unfortunately, as time went on, people, get bored of doing the same sort of thing over and over. The population dwindled, and I found myself looking for a new home. So I hit the boards, and literally first one up there was IronHeim, and I went, you know what, I'll give it a shot. Let's see how it goes. Day one, I think I was alive for 5 minutes, if that. Two-star Grey Dwarf just went, "Bleh, you don't belong here." And I went, okay, that's interesting. Continued on. Nighttime had obviously just happened, and now there's spiders everywhere. Okay, I've never played with spiders before. What the hell? And it was just a love-hate relationship from the get-go. So after a while, I actually teamed up with Cleo and Slater, and we ended up started doing some off farming, and we actually did our first raid together, which was Ravenholm, which I mentioned before was one of my favorite times. I would say that I love to play Valheim more than Warcraft now, just because it's so easy to just jump into. The server has a bunch of people on it that are all wanting to do different things, so there's always something to do, rather than, oh, we got to sign up for raid, we got to be here at this time, or we're grinding for 4 hours straight.
Yeah.
So literally it's come when you want to. I mean, if you're available, great. If you're not, no worries. And now the other aspect, the fact that I'm GMing a bit.
At my old house, my internet was slower, right?
Yeah.
But it was,
But it was more stable.
super stable,
Yeah.
which was weird because we were out in the country. So, make any sense. And then, now that we moved to the new house, we get faster internet, but more disconnections. So, but that's life, those curveballs at you. What do? You adjust. That's what we got to do. So,
Adapt, overcome.
right. Yeah. So sorry about that, folks. Obviously not planned. Just trying to test our resiliency, and we shall press on.
I think you're actually offline at the moment, are you not? For the YouTube channel?
It's back up now. Yeah, it's a little delayed, but it should be back up. It should be back up. All right. Give it a second. Let it sure we're still good here. Yeah. So unfortunately, I don't have a way of having I need to have a backup internet. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to do that, I guess, or know how to do that, even if that's even a thing, right? Especially given our limited availability of internet here. So I guess I can get like Starlink or something, right? Come on, Elon, where you at, dude?
Carefully, might buy you out.
Right, yeah. Okay, let me see here. Let me make sure we're good. Can y'all see the stream okay?
Looks good to me.
I think it's good, yeah. Hey, we're back. Yeah, so I know, let's see. All right, so I know when we cut off, the last thing I heard was Heliron was talking about his experiences, and shortly after you were talking about your experiences when you first came on the server, that's when it cut off. So didn't know if you wanted to finish that up or whatever else you had to add.
I'll finish it right up. Basically, again, thank you very much to my wife for supporting me through my nerdy habits, and again, looking forward to doing a lot more with you guys, and possibly doing more raids.
Hell
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
Hell yes. Yeah, I'm always, if for the GMs or anybody listening, if you got event ideas, or you want to put on events and you're not a GM, I mean, we can still accommodate, figure out a way to make it work. So let's do it. I think that's what probably what keeps a lot of people around. I think partly.
I think there's a few events coming up. In fact, Zaylin had mentioned one that I think I'll be taking part of fairly soon.
For sure. All right, so changing gears again, right? So let's talk about some other servers. So we mentioned Iron Classic earlier, right? So that's a vanilla-like, and we say vanilla-like because it's vanilla for the most part, but we have some, obviously some anti-cheat stuff, can protect your stuff a little bit better than the vanilla wards. And it has, I think it worked out pretty good. It's not not as lively as IronHeim, but hey, you know, in time it's gonna get there, right? I think probably have to step up some of the marketing for it to get those numbers up, and but obviously most of our audience and community is here because of IronHeim, so that's what they like, right? Not vanilla is not for everybody. So in time it'll grow. I did want to someone mentioned a comment right before we got kicked off here. Let me see. So I don't know which player this is. Barak. What if we have a difficulty level like life is feudal, hard to get materials, things take time, so certain jobs appear. This can create more alive community, always in touch. Interesting idea for sure. And the reason I wanted to scroll up to that because we're about to talk about some other servers, right? So I actually put a poll in the Discord if you haven't seen it yet. Haven't checked the results, but I don't know if anybody here has played Life is Feudal Your Own. I personally loved that game. They still are running server hosting companies are still having servers for it, so I am considering picking one up, maybe even if it's just temporary thing, and running a Life is Feudal Your Own server because I absolutely love it. Like I said, like games that can create, you know, good lasting memories. You know, there's not a lot of them there for me. I've played tons of games, right? If you look at my Steam thing or whatever, you can see I've played all kinds of games ranging from shooters, RPGs, you name it, right? There's only a few, less than 5, I'd say, where there's like legit solidified memories that I probably will never forget. When I'm old and shitting myself in a diaper, I'll still remember some of the times and Life is Feudal Your Own or Arma 2 or what, you know, there's only a few games, not many, and IronHeim is one of them now. So yeah, I think it'd be a cool little experience, just like a sidebar thing, maybe not a permanent thing, maybe a permanent thing. I don't know. See, but I just threw the poll up, see what everybody thought, and if you don't know what it is, it's similar to Valheim in some aspect, but much more grindy and difficult. But there's a role playing in that game I think is amazing. Obviously, there's proximity chat. That's why I asked Clay about the RP server on Valheim because I think that's a big factor, being able to use proximity chat.
For sure.
But it's amazing. It's super brutal too. Like when you die, you're gonna lose all your shit if you die in enemy territory because they're just gonna loot your stuff. So, but it's cool. So that's a possible future server. We talked about Iron Classic, right? So there is I'm going back to that for a second since I got sidetracked there. But Iron Classic does have a North American and a European server, and you can portal between the two. So if you're maybe you need some resources from the other one, or you're on the Eastern Hemisphere or the Western Hemisphere, connect to whichever one's closest. That way you have a better latency, a better ping. It's awesome, right? So Heliron owns and runs the North American one, but he also GMs on both. So appreciate that for partnering up and doing that, and doing it under the Iron Realms banner. So that was awesome, big step, and he made it happen. So appreciate that. Let's see, classic mystery server. Did you guys play on the mystery server by any chance?
Yeah.
Yep.
What'd you think about that?
That was fun.
It
That was
had
my
a
first,
lot of fun aspects.
Yeah, my first introduction to Jewelcraft, so that was neat.
I will say it is a lot more grindy than typical Valheim, just to try and get your leveling up for the different abilities and such. I would like to sort of see that less grindy if possible, just for newer players trying to get out and to actually do things. But again, that's all adjustments, right? We haven't officially launched, so you may have a whole bunch of people that want to have that sort of difficulty right off the get-go. Don't know. Got to try it to see.
Yeah, I think part of the problem was the timing. So at the time, whenever I launched the alpha, there was issues with server sync. That's when all those issues kind of popped up right after the PlayFab updates, which caused a lot of fucking problems because if you played on the mystery server, you know that whatever you knew from Valheim, vanilla Valheim, just take that and just throw it away before you get in there because you're at level 1 and starting out, you're in the meadows and or plains and fighting goblins and stuff like that, right? Obviously, in vanilla Valheim, goblins would just mop the floor with you, which was not supposed to be the point right? But the problem was it wasn't syncing. It was actually specifically creature level and loot control mod. That was what I was using to tune down certain creatures so they were weaker, provided the appropriate experience for the level, etc. But that was not syncing, so I would have to force sync it. Players would be able to test it for a little bit, and then it would revert, and then you would have goblins smacking you for twice your health bar, right? And that's no fun. So a lot of people were kind of stuck at the beginning, getting mopped up at spawn. It was good. It was good for testing. Hopefully, I think all those issues are kind of resolved now. So we'll probably do another test before the summer, because something happens in the summer, which is what one of my announcements is coming up here in a minute. So yeah, we'll definitely do another run. The mystery server is going to be a little bit different. The classes that were in it before, the magic overhaul mod got depreciated. KG, he was the one that's kind of writing it, and he's rewriting it, but it's not going to have as many classes. It's going to be more stable, more balanced.
Nice.
I think he's got 3 classes currently, the last time I checked. And I wanted to do a little plug here for the modders in our community in general, right? Because I was super impressed with KG, because if you don't know, KG is Ukrainian, and he was in Ukraine and continuously writing mods and code and updating and everything while everything was going on. So huge shout out to him or her. I don't know if it's a male or female. And all the other modders, and a couple I'm going to name, right? And I don't know if I'm going to say them correctly, but Jere Kuusela, the creator of the Infinity Hammer, Expand World, Server Dev Commands, a critical and important mod creator for the Valheim modding community. So appreciate everything they do. They've been super helpful, super nice person. I talk to them all the time. I say all the time. Every time I have an issue or question, they respond super quick and awesome. Also, South Sill. So he is the creator of the different armors that everybody loves: the Flame Drake armor, the shiny one, armor, the Shield Maiden armor, the Dwarven Bear armor. Yeah, super awesome individual. And shout out to him. He's in our Discord. KG, like I already said, Smooth Brain or Black Sun. She makes a lot of different mods that we use that are super critical, obviously. And then Randy Knapp, the epic loot creator.
Yeah.
So he kind of fell off the scene for a little bit. I don't know what the reason was, but he's back, and I am super glad, because I think that with the Mistlands update, if he did not return, then I don't think IronHeim would be what it is right now. So super important that he did come back, made the updates, and he's been actively optimizing and changing and improving epic loot, which is obviously a critical part of what IronHeim is. So appreciate that. And there's obviously a ton of different mod creators out there that are super helpful and are the reason that we're able to do what we do, right? I can't take credit for a lot of it. I just take what they got and I kind of mold it to shape what you get, right? Which is IronHeim or the other servers, right? I can't take any credit for that. It's all them. So appreciate all them.
Yeah, the modders definitely don't get enough thanks from anybody.
For sure.
If you can, check out their pages, try and donate whatever you can, because honestly, without them, we wouldn't be playing this.
Yeah, and I have in my notes here to add their Patreons and socials in my description. I did not do that yet, but when the video is done, I'll make sure to add them in there so you can go in there, donate, you know, like Hell was saying, and support them, because they do it for free. So give them that support. Announcements. I do have an announcement to make. If you don't know, like I did mention, I am in the military, right? And sometimes you get tagged with doing things you don't want to do. That's just part of life. It's part of the gig. So I will be going to a much hotter and sandier place in the summer. Looking at between 4 and 6 months. Can't really say much more than that on an unsecured platform. But nevertheless, I will be out. But bittersweet, right? It's my last one. So before I retire, which is awesome for me, because I'm done, right? It should be my last one, hopefully. Fingers crossed, right? The way the timing and everything works, it should be the last one. So, of course, it's unfortunate for my family, which sucks, but that's just part of the gig. It's not my first one. I've done many. So, yeah, it'll be my last one, and I should have decent connection speed there. So Hopefully nothing changes too much. I might not be able to be on as much, but I also have an awesome team and an even more awesome community. So thank you all for the support, and we will continue to press on. Not a whole lot should change, hopefully, other than some gaps in communication, possibly. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But like we said before, just like when the internet cut out, you just gotta adapt and overcome. But like I said, not going anywhere permanently. I will be back. So we'll be back to normal ops regardless of what happens during that short time period, and then go on from there. But like I said, we're just getting started, just laying the foundation for the future, because this is what I'll be doing full time. I don't plan on ever working for anyone ever again after I retire. This will be my job, right? So like I said, we're just getting started. I'm gonna keep building and growing the kingdom as much as I can. Promise. So that's the announcement. Yeah, and I had a couple of things on here for some community showcases, but I had some issues with bringing up some of those clips, so I think I'm going to save that for another episode, so we're not dragging this out too long. We're right at an hour, but I wanted to open up the floor to any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to put out there on a public forum, not only from my two guests here, but also for chat. If you have anything, shoot it out there, see what you got. All right.
Looks like in chat we've got Zaylan mentioning that he hid some legendary enchanted wisp lights around the community village for new players. So if you're not already on IronHeim, there's an opportunity for you to get something really cool when you first start out.
Yep, hell yeah. Yeah, we got some super nice, super helpful folks. Some of these, I'm not a super nice person, I'll be honest. Some people might think I am. I don't know if they don't really know me, but I'm not a nice person. So, but we have some really nice people that kind of help balance me out. And sometimes I can be a little brutal and harsh, but that's just who I am. But we do have some awesome community members that help out all the time. Clay's a huge helper. I mean, I've seen almost everybody that plays continuously help out everybody else and kind of take them under their wings and get them where they need to go, or help with body recoveries, or I see little people put little signs on things everywhere, like free food at the spawn, or people will recover someone's boat and leave a sign there, hey, recovered by so and so. Like, that's awesome. I like to see that kind of stuff. It makes me all happy inside. So keep it up. What else you got? Any closing remarks?
I was sort of looking forward to the meat hall competition piece, but
Yeah. So I
I'm
wanted
sorry, Cleo's meat hall was awesome. So
yeah, I definitely.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, the old seed was white, but I did record a lot of the different meat halls and walkthroughs, so I have all those. But I wanted to do a little bit more justice and get a little bit more organized before I put it up on the screen and it's all a mess, right? I want to I'll probably actually make a separate video showcasing it, and so we can shorten it, because I have super long clips of me walking through meat halls, etc. But it was some super awesome builds, and I do want to make sure it gets its due justice, because everybody spent the time and built it, and it sucks that we had to wipe the seed and everything that happened kind of at the time. But yeah, so I wanted to give it a little bit more polishing and to make sure it's squared away before we throw it up on the screen.
nice.
So
nice.
yeah. So there's
I
no
do have
other.
one other thing to ask.
What you got?
All right, so this is to all you Ironheimers. I am going to be challenging Iron Dad to one of my raids coming up shortly before he takes off. So I would like to get you guys to send me some ideas of how I can torture him before he does go. So again, send me a DM. Again, I want to hear every idea, and I challenge you, Iron Dad, to run this.
Okay. Let's do it. I like a good challenge.
Perfect.
I like it. So actually, what's funny is the first event that I ever participated in was today. Was your event? So I don't get that opportunity a lot. So I appreciate that. It was cool to kind of be on the other side of things and get our asses kicked a little bit. So it was fun. It's good. So if there's no other closing remarks, that pretty much wraps it up for the pilot episode. They're kind of testing the waters on how this whole thing goes. I apologize for the internet outage. Can't control everything. Wish I could. If I could, then there wouldn't be no outages, right? But sometimes you can't. That's how life is. Those curveballs at you, you got to adjust. That's all it is. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for all your questions. Make him stand up parade rest. That's funny. So thank you all for all your questions, thoughts, comments, stopping by, viewing the channel, viewing the clips, and giving us all your feedback. Big shout out to everybody who has provided feedback to me in different formats, everything. I do watch and listen to everything that you say, I promise. I even snippet a lot of things. So on the second episode of IronCast, right, I have a cool little treat for y'all. So I'll make sure to post it up on it. But I do watch everything and read everything, I promise. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but I will definitely get to it when I do. And if I forget you, if you send me a message and I just haven't got back to you in a long period of time, whatever you think that might be, then just hit me up again because I'm super busy sometimes. So sometimes it happens. Obviously, with my announcement in consideration, timeline for the IronCast might sway a little bit. I was probably thinking about doing it quarterly, so 4 times a year. Possibly more if we have pertinent things to talk about, announcements, whatever it is. Just depends. So it's kind of testing the waters. You guys like it, don't like it, tell us what you think. Tell me what you think. Whatever. Don't even filter it. Just tell me it straight. I'm not a filtered person. Tell me if you think it fucking sucked, then say that. Cool. Then what would you change about it? So provide some constructive criticism with actionable feedback, right? So let's see what else. So I'll close with this. In the comments or in the chat, post your most memorable time in IronHeim or other Iron Realm servers. And if you don't have a good one that you want to post one from a different server or game, right? Because maybe we can replicate that in some way, shape, or form so that we can make the Iron Realms your home permanently. Got anything else?
No?
That's it for
Easy,
me.
easy. I appreciate y'all coming up, being the first guests.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank you for
My
having us.
pleasure.
worked out super well. You guys are awesome, and thank you for everything you do. And on that note, I will close it out.